Locked On Texas Tech in 3, 2, and 1. Whole lot of talk about assistant movement this week, Chris. And when we're talking about Zarnell Fitch, CJ IU, we're talking about guys that within the culture of Joey McGuire's program, obviously there for an extended period of time. And when you're thinking about those to come, finding fits for that at the front of a lot of folks' minds, obviously. I think it was interesting because the question that we had from Todd asking about what exactly does that mean to be a fit for this Red Raider program's culture? To me, based on my impressions, I think we would even talk differently about those two names and maybe how they fit into that culture in Zarnell Fitch and CJ IU. And if I could even attach just a sidebar bonus question, because I spend too much time on the internet. You're there occasionally. You've seen and or heard some of the rumblings about our guy Zarnell Fitch, now departed Texas Tech defensive line head coach. Is there anything you could share to any reality that was there or maybe not ever there regarding that? A lot to consider, I know.
Yeah, because I think you have specifics on a specific incident and locale and date, do you not?
Our Matador Mob
the mob
reporters have reported some indications of, I don't know, enthusiastic disagreements. Years gone by where RedRaidersports.com on the scene reporters.
Yeah, this is true.
Making claims about appearances here or there. So we've been in this long enough to know that there's a lot that comes and goes that's based in nothing but thin air. And then on occasion you find something, who locked what in a closet, that is based in some kind of reality. So I'll let you take it away if you'd like. But either one of those guys from a cultural fit standpoint would like your thoughts on that. And then some of maybe the skeleton stuff if you got time for it.
I think that CJIU is about everything that Joey McGuire is trying to preach and build and maintain. And that's not just teaching technique and, it's mentor, it's motivation, it's good human, it is, leader, tone setter, culture builder, culture maintainer, the whole, hey, we want to make you be the best version of yourself. And that I think is certainly CJIU.
Pause.
On the other side, I think Zarnell is, his guys have played hard. I think they've played well, and you could argue he's had good players. And you could say the same thing about CJ too. I just, is it not telling to you and to anybody out there, if you're paying attention, that I'd be willing to bet you that CJIU's name and several other assistants come out of the head coach's mouth in a variety of media settings. I bet CJIU's name has been mentioned, unprompted, mind you, 20 to 40 times over the last calendar year. I would say that the other individual you're asking about, it's zero. I don't know. I mean, it's just worth pointing out. I do think there is some. That's more than just rumor on a recent. I guess what you're kind of the mob folks are asking about, a recent weekend scuffle. I think that is there's some. I've heard the same from
public at an establishment. I don't want to be too vague. People are asking, this guy get in a brawl somewhere?
Yeah, and I've heard the same from folks that I think would know. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. And I would also offer up, I don't think this was an isolated incident.
Oh, good.
I think there's been other stuff, right? So it's. I also think that you maybe were kind of in the position a year ago to where you were wondering if this was a coach that was going to stay on this staff or not. And I think that maybe even it just lasted a year longer than maybe we would have thought. But and look, he was always nice to me. I didn't have that many conversations with him. He was a guest on Joey McGuire's radio show at times, and I didn't really know him that well. But you can't discount that what some of his guys did and all that. But I think there was a lot going on there. I'll just leave it at that. And I think that if you are smart enough to like pay attention to, tea leaves or kind of the way people are talked about or not talked about in this case, I think you have a pretty clear indication. So, yeah. So I think, and like, I think you even mentioned the RedRaidersports.com thing. There was an incident on the website of, I don't know, Callan, what is this, 2 years ago?
Seems like it, yeah.
Where he was rumored to have been at an establishment out of state, whether it was at the convention or they were recruiting or something, and he was with another coach who was no longer here. And there was a lot of things said and spewed, and somebody was like, I was sitting right there. This is everything that he said. And I think he actually had to come out and kind of try to clear it all up. I think there was a lot of truth into what happened. And I think he just, probably said some things he probably wishes he could have had back. But hey, man, everybody's going their separate ways. That's what happens in life and in business and in relationships and in marriages and blah, 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 blah. Right. So everybody will go their separate ways, but there are reasons, plural, for that. I don't think that I will just say I would be willing to bet you that internally that they would feel very strongly about saying replacing CJ Ayu and all that he brought would be much more difficult to replace than what and everything that Zarnell Fitch brought. But that's just my opinion. And I bet I'm not alone in that opinion though either. So anyway, but yeah, maybe he goes to USC and maybe I don't know, but that's you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here kind of thing.
As we've been kind of thinking about the possibility of Ayu getting an opportunity elsewhere and, Pittsburgh and the National Football League, Chris, have you got any feel for any direction there or the type of guy, the connection to a guy, if there is someone specific, or where this, I guess, road may lead next? Because obviously this is a premier spot with some talented guys, so need the right fit.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you've got so you're going to replace your entire defensive line situation, and yes, Coach Tichy is still there, but you've got a bunch of draft picks. I think the internal thought is that AJ Holmes is going to be drafted. Mateen Igbarogba is going to be drafted. Bryce Butler will be drafted. Adam Trick will be drafted. Trey White will be drafted. So this is the bulk of what your defensive line is made up of. And so you need some folks to, to coach them. And so that's some pressure, but also quite the opportunity for somebody. And, look, I'd be willing to bet you that Joey has been thinking about the Fitch part of this and the replacement there for many weeks prior. So, and sometimes this is timing or, hey, when things calm down, I want to visit with you. The CJIU thing is probably a little bit newer, but he's probably a week into some thought process there. What are you going to do? Who are you going to bring in? Who do you want to talk to? And, Shieldwood will have some, things to offer up and that as well. And so we'll just kind of see what happens. It's funny because I had Kerry Hyder reach out to me yesterday, and I tried to connect with him, and I just wondered, hey, is that somebody that would love to get back into coaching and all that? Because Kerry Hyder played here, and then he played the NFL for, I don't know, 10. That may have nothing to do with it, but it was just make my wheels turn. It was interesting timing on him trying to reach out to me. So we'll see.
Yeah, love Kerry Hyder. That's a flash from the past. Was a favorite during that era. Okay, thank you for that question. This question here, Old Greg. We're talking a lot about press criticism and critiques in the national media this week of our Red Raiders. And he's wondering, in the theory of any press being good press, is there a chance that this actually is of a detriment to Texas Tech at any point in time? Do you think there's a narrative that could take root, or does winning just continue to cure all?
As far as like, what's the negative press? Did I miss something?
I think it. Well, no, just all the. Well, do you remember when your blood was flowing yesterday and you were
Oh well, okay. So the
that kind of
anonymous
negative press?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think that I don't want to say that that's like either good nor bad. I do remember when my blood was flowing. I was like, yeah, I got a little. And if I'm being honest, I think that was probably comments coming out of Austin, Texas. I think those were probably comments that were trying to take a specific shot at James Blanchard, not really Felix Ojo. I think that if you remember when the Cam Coleman sweepstakes, nobody had more fun at Texas Tech's expense than the general manager at Texas. And if you really want to take a shot at a fellow general manager, you kind of poke at evaluation and wasted money and this and that. So I think maybe that anonymous individual probably told on himself at different times. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. Well, who knows? But and softball's been in the news recently for different roster construction and NIL related activities and things like that. You've been in the news because you chose to yell, he's instead of he is load managed. I mean, that is just two different things. And so, yeah, we've been all in the, but you're relevant. You're relevant. You're not just like, man, there's just nothing going on here. There's all kinds of stuff going on. You're relevant. And I'm never going to shy away from the relevancy, because being irrelevant is the worst. Remember in the regular portion of the show when you were asking about draft picks and where do you want your guys to go? The Jets are irrelevant. The Browns are irrelevant. The Raiders are irrelevant. The Titans are irrelevant. The Cardinals are irrelevant. The Saints are irrelevant. I mean, they're dysfunctional, and it right. So it's kind of fun being in some ways being triggering people, and you're winning, and you're what exactly are they doing? So I just don't like the anonymous stuff. That is you're a PAB if you can't put your name on it.
Fun with acronyms today. Thank you for that question. This question here from Guy, the last buddy Flash, who's looking ahead to spring football. He would like a newcomer or freshman that you feel like will stand out as an almost immediate impact guy. He wanted to make a guess too, or he had his own. Ace Rowden is a name that he's mentioning. Would that be a choice for you, or anybody else stand out?
And this is like of your freshman class?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ace's involvement is directly tied to like Quentin Joyner's recovery, but I think Ace Rowden is a dude, man. I like you're not going to have to worry about, and we'll see, because like he's tied to Quentin Joyner because now you have depth, now you have real talent, now you have real speed. He's a big physical player. His thing will be like, if Quentin Joyner comes back and he's gangbusters, okay, maybe it's not Ace Rowden's time yet. But also, if Ace Rowden can be involved in pass pro, it would speed up his timeline, whatever. But yeah, Jacoby and Cam are now sandwiched by young and old, or young and older, and just a lot of talent. They have in fact moved Adam Hill over to back to linebacker. The other name I would give you is, look, LaDainian Guyton's going to be heard from. He's not off the radar. I think, Felix may feel like he's going to push his way into some sort of playing time on offensive tackle. Don't know if I'm necessarily buying that, because it's just very difficult, especially at that spot. But Chase Campbell, the local product, I think I would tell you, do not sleep on that young man. He's got some freak to him. And he's going to miss some time this spring because of he's recovering from an injury, but he's got something to him. And if you're looking for a young wideout, he could pass up some folks potentially. So I I would mention his name to you.
All right, thank you for that question. This one from Joey. Couple more to get in. When negotiating NIL deals, are bowl games or opt-outs mentioned or obligated? Is that a part of that contractual requirement, or is there some stipulation
on being in a bowl game or not?
Yeah, bowl games or the possibility
Yeah,
of opt-out and things like that.
I think that was some thought. A year ago, this is what we need to do. I just don't know if a lot of that has progressed. And I think the way that a lot of schools have maybe done some of this is the way they've structured payments, in that if you do opt out, you're just kind of opting out of the way we will pay you. I don't think there's some, I don't know if there's any sort of new contract that are out there, because everybody's using largely the same stuff. The lingo may be tweaked a bit differently from league to league, but I think the Big 12 is like using most schools are using kind of the same general contract, if you will. And I don't know if there's any bowl game stuff or not in there. So you can still opt out. You just may not get your full allotment of rev share or NIL or whatever else, right? So I think there was a thought a year ago, these bowl games need to incentivize paying these kids. Don't give them a watch and a video game system. Pay them $10,000 each, whatever, right? Or the schools need to, but it's the athletes have all the power now. For years, it was the coaches had the power, the school had the power, but the athletes and the agents kind of have all the juice now. You still get paid when you're hurt. And so, but I do think if I'm not going to play in this game, if a school wants to, they can say, okay, I totally understand. Hey, David Bailey, if you don't want to play in a playoff game or a bowl game or whatever, we get it. You have tons of money at stake. And if you want to, and you may not want to be a jerk. You may go, hey, dude, we'll take care of you because you may be able to pay us back down the road. And, if you're really good, we would love for you to, we don't want to piss you off. But in some cases, you may just say, okay, hey, no harm, but we're not going to fulfill the rest of our obligation to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that question. John is asking if you have any ideas or guesses on who may emerge among Red Raider football players to be in Joey's leadership circle. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I know he had kind of like a group of leaders, upperclassmen. Are there names you think are maybe easy guesses for that group?
Well, like last year, that was Barron, that was Jacob. That they would have been primary on each side of the ball. I think this year Sorsby will probably be included in that. One, because he's an old guy. Two, because of the position that he plays, and I think you need leadership from him. But I'd be willing to bet you that Ben Roberts, Sheridan Wilson. This is where your homegrown guys really, but then your Bryce Pollocks, your Terrence Carters, guys that have been here for a year and that are also really good and at their position and all that stuff. But I think some of those names would be like Ben Roberts and Sheridan Wilson were probably like, internally like on each side of the ball, head of the class, but Sorsby will be, and there'll be some others too, just because of who they are and all that. But yeah, that's leadership council. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it either, but yeah.
Yeah, I know he was convening those guys regularly, which I thought was a cool thing and probably a good idea for any program. All right, I got to get this one in before we wrap it up, Chris, from our friend Kelly, because I'm a sucker for some behind the scenes, on the ground Matador Mob source reporting. All right, so track with me on this. Kelly says she's got a good friend who was running an ESPN camera 70 minutes prior to tip-off on Monday against Kansas, saw Grant McCaslin and Christian Anderson discussing a leg. The question is there anything lingering from Central Florida that either impacted things Monday or could moving forward beyond a sickness for C4 that you're aware of?
I think he's been dealing with some hamstring stuff. I think he got bumped around really good at UCF. He was noticeably limping at times toward the end of that game and then to the locker room and all that. I don't think that's why he did not play on Monday night. I think he was absolutely legitimately ill to the point where his body wouldn't cooperate, if you pick up what I'm putting down here.
Unfortunately.
And like look, because I've seen like, hey, man, did he pull a Darren Peterson? Did somebody get involved? I hope if you glean anything from the last 30 minutes or hour that you've been listening to us, I hope people understand this is a peach of a human. This is one of the toughest kids. You can MF him. You can coach him hard. You can demand this. You can ask him to never come off the floor. He will give you all he's got, and he will look you dead in the eye and say, yes, sir. And he will produce every single freaking night. So, and he's been playing through a lot of stuff injury-wise. Has anybody noticed it? Or, like a drop-off in play? His wrist has been wrapped. He's got these leg issues. He got hit in the ribs the other day. I mean, and then his, I mean, so there is no him being like, oh man, I just did he opt out? Did he, no, there's none of that. He is literally one of the best I've ever seen come through here in a variety of different ways. I mean, I mentioned to Grant the other day, I kind of used the Keenan Evans comparison, but he's so much better than Keenan at their same age. It's not even close. But that's Keenan. We talk about the junior and senior version of Keenan, but
yeah,
Christian's already there. I mean, he's already there, and he's a true sophomore. So that's what that would be all that I would offer up there as far as all that may be going he would be dealing with.
Yeah, he's banged up like he has been. Playing every minute of every game will do that to it, man. And then you get a little sick on a Monday night, and you get what you got. And thank you for giving us a cameraman plug. I like to have that on our side. Please stay in touch, Kelly.
Absolutely. Hey, man, eye in the sky never lies, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But let's get him subscribed, Kelly. I'll send you a QR code. You can get to the cameraman.
That's right. I love our people. Like, they're aware of what's going on at the downtown establishment.
That's right.
They're aware of what's going on 70 minutes before game time. I mean, it's all we've got people everywhere, man. Phenomenal.
You're in the thick of it.
That's right.
We are the thick of it. All right, Chris. Appreciate the extra time, regulation, OT, all of the above. And hope you have
the irony about both incidents, the pregame, the 70-minute deal, is I think there's video of the other incident too.
Oh no,
I don't know if that'll ever come to light or not, but I believe that. So yeah, eye in the sky, man. Maybe we got an ESPN cameraman at a nighttime establishment too that could have captured said,
sure,
challenge
laid out for the mob.
That's right. There you go.
I know some of you were texting about it. Where's the footage? All right, man. Safe trip to Morgantown. If you have not caught it out there yet, hope you're joining us for the afternoon edition on Friday as we're getting ready for Red Raiders and Mountaineers. Do so if you haven't already. Chris, appreciate all the time, man. Travel safe, and we'll catch up on the other side.
Sounds good. Talk to everybody next time. Keep hope alive, people, and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Olympics. Enjoy the Super Bowl, but enjoy a Red Raider win in Morgantown. John Denver went to Texas Tech. Right. And shout out to Joe Toussaint because he played for both guys, but he was much better in a Red Raider uniform, man. Appreciate you, Joe.
That's exactly right. And the song was about Maryland. We all know that, and I'll say it till I die. All right. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks for being out there. Thanks for being mobsters. All the questions, keep them coming anytime, any subject. Have a great weekend. We'll see you for the next round.